And there are some big stories beaming in from outer space today, including hints of possible life on a distant planet. An unusual find has dramatically increased the likelihood that we are not alone in the universe, with one Aussie expert calling it the biggest space discovery in the past decade, and it all has to do with the smell of seaweed. Joining us now is Senior Engineering Lecturer Dr. Graham Dorrington from the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology. Graham, very good morning to you. What exactly has been discovered and why does it smell like seaweed?
Good morning, Ange and Stevie. For me, it's amazing. I'm gobsmacked by what I've read and discovered. From the Institute of Astronomy have announced that they have found something called dimethyl sulfide, a gas, in another planet 100 light years from our own Earth. Now, let me step back and explain that. Some years ago, they discovered there was a planet about twice the size of Earth going around a thing called a red dwarf star. It goes around every 33 days, and it's just in the right range to be the right temperature. We know it has an ocean, and we know it has a hydrogen atmosphere, and also, we now know it has a signature, a confident signature of CO2 in the atmosphere. We know this because the James Webb Space Telescope, which cost $10 billion, has been using its instruments to look at, very sensitive instruments, to look at the atmosphere, we'll talk the spectrum. And the big surprise that I recognise is something called dimethyl sulfide. Now, that is the sort of gas that's given off by seaweed when you go to the beach. So it's caused by microorganisms. And this is the thing. It can only be made biologically. You can't make it geologically. So I think we all know the smell of seaside, that distinct smell. And I'm just saying that we've got a 2/3 confidence, a measurement. It's not completely confirmed, but it's 2/3 confident that there is this gas in this planet. For me, that's amazing, amazing news.
It is. And Graham, you used a whole lot of really big words there. Can you explain for us non-science people why this is so significant?
It's significant because for many, many decades, people have been asking, is there other life in the universe? And it could be plentiful in our galaxy, or there could be none. Some people think there's none. There could be none, that we're very special Earth. But what this shows us is that there is plant life, likely, let's say it's only a 2/3 likelihood at this stage, if I was to characterise it, that there is life on another planet. And the other thing is that it's got a similar biochemistry, similar biology to some of the things we see on Earth. And that's significant as well. So it may mean that life's more plentiful throughout the entire galaxy. This star is a long way away. This planet going around the star is 100 light years. But by galactic terms, that's a nearby neighbour. It's like the galaxy is 1,000 times bigger. So this is a local thing. So if there's life there, there's probably lots of planets with life throughout the galaxy.
So the way you talk about it, though, makes it sound incredible. It's remarkable. Why hasn't this story gained more traction around the planet?
Well, I'm just privileged that I, for example, have worked with people like Sarah Seeger, who wrote this book in Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and William Baines. They're experts in the UK, and they predicted that this would be discovered, that this gas would be a biosignature gas. And the discovery has been made subsequent to their papers appearing. The Institute of Astronomy, a very reputable institution, has now detected this using the James Webb Telescope. I think the point that makes it, why it hasn't been covered so much, is that people don't realise that dimethyl sulfide can only be made biologically. Of course, there's lots of other exciting news that gets swamped. Tom Hanks talking about the first people to be born on the moon. You know, there's so much going on that it's hard to choose which news item is significant. But for me, this is big news.
Yeah, and there's more big news coming out of space today. An asteroid sample has just parachuted to Earth. How excited are you about that?
Oh, it's magic. This is fantastic. That's been coming back from Bennu, that mission. It's arrived back on Earth with this sample from Bennu containing pristine, hopefully pristine samples, 250 grams of material. It's landed in Utah. That sample could have what we call amino acids in it. It could be the building blocks of life. There's a theory that the Earth, when it was soon after it's made, was bombarded by similar things, and that gave us all the materials we need to create life on Earth. So it's another part of the equation of how life originated. So it's just fantastic they got the sample back and it's landed safely.
I love how excited you are about all this. You're also doing some space exploring of your own.
Yep.
You're building a rover to go on the moon. What can you tell us about it?
Oh, that's a really exciting project. I'm working with an amazing consortium called ELO2.au. If you want to check out the website, ELO2.au. And they're going to be building a prototype rover over the next year and hopefully building a rover that goes to the moon in 2026 for the Australian Space Agency. And that will be going around looking for samples of materials on the moon and collecting them.
Wow, you've got a competition underway to name this rover too. So
that's right.
If anyone out there wants to have a crack at the name, where do they go?
Well, you could just go to elo2.au and you can see the link to name the rover competition. And anyone can do it. School kids, anyone's watching, mums, grannies, anyone at home, anyone of any age can come up with a name, and it's possible that's the name they'll choose for the rover. So I really encourage everyone to do that. It's really a great opportunity to get involved.
Should be a Commodore, shouldn't it, if it's a vehicle made in Australia?
That's not the name I would use.
OK.
Boaty McBoatface.
Boaty
Well, another
McBoatface.
possibility.
Or a Rana. Tirana. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Graham Dorrington, because I love the smell of dimethyl sulfate in the morning.
I was going to give the viewers a clue. There's one person that appears on the $50 note.
Yes?
It's called Unipon. I think he was a great First Nations inventor and engineer, and my boys are putting in that vote. So if anyone wants to back me up, just put in the Unipon as the name on the $50 note. So
Sounds
just
good.
an idea.
Thanks again for your time.
Pleasure.
Very
Pleasure.
exciting stuff. I love it.
Great.